now because I left them for a reality show. And I was like, dude, I have to pay my bills. I broke my freaking shoulder working to entertain you. And now you are saying that I betrayed you? F you.
Talks. I am your host, media director Cecil Sharp, and I have the best episode ever coming to you in just a minute. We have international superstar Ariel Levy. He is an amazing professional wrestler out of Chile, wrestling out of CNL, any other promotion down there, all over South America, Puerto Rico. He's a good friend of ours. Came and trained at the CCW training facility before his WWE tryout, and he is going to be on the WWE Espanol pre-show Sunday for Extreme Rules. But most importantly, he's awesome, and he has a heart of gold. So that's coming up today. Quickly, beforehand, Nashville, Tennessee, Lucha Mania 2020. We have some matches already announced. I'm going to do a full rundown next week for you. But get your tickets today for Lucha Mania, July 25th at Helios Granite in Nashville, Tennessee. We are excited. Anyway, let's get to the interview. And we are back with one of the best guests in CCW Talk history. He is the current CNL National Champion. He is the former Wrestling Superstars Tag Team Champion. He's doing some analysis for WWE Latin America. He's a big star. He's an actor. He is everything that you want to be, that you want to know in professional wrestling. Please welcome Ariel Levy. How are you, brother?
I'm good, Cecil. How are you? I'm here in Chile. It's a little cold outside, but taking care of myself, staying healthy, and trying to take care of my family while we're waiting to get back in the ring.
I know. I can imagine. You know, you're south of the equator, so it's cold. It's wintertime for you. It's hot as heck over here in South Florida, but I know you're in the cold there, and everybody's inside because of COVID-19. The whole world is on lockdown. Which is kind of crazy. What is it? How has that affected Chile wrestling in Chile?
Well, it hit us hard, of course, because here in Chile you cannot call the Chilean scene an industry or anything like that. Like, it's pretty, like, we have like very talented performers and wrestlers, but we still have to have other jobs and stuff to do. Like, we cannot support ourselves only based on our wrestling careers. So it's basically, if you don't run shows, your promotion will not survive. So we're in that scene right now. That point, like a lot of like a pretty good wrestling school that's called Yellos Dojo. It's run by Alejandro Saez and Juan Chulo. Alejandro Saez competed in the Cruiserweight Classic.
Absolutely, XL.
And they had to shut down the school a month after the quarantine started because they couldn't afford keeping the school running without students paying. So they had to close down the school. So yeah, it was pretty sad. And none of the promotions here are running shows. So yeah, it's It is what it is.
It's difficult. You know, it's unbelievable that, you know, you're saying an amazing athlete like Alejandro Saez, you know, was in the Cruiserweight Classic. He's trained at CCW, and I know he has one of the best schools, but he has a point, and everyone has a point, in that when are we going to be able to come back from this? You know, we thought we would be getting back to normal now in Florida, and just today or yesterday was the most cases of any state ever. So, you know, it's really scary to see the long-term effects on COVID-19, not just in wrestling and in anything, right?
Yeah, it's how it is. Like, I'm pretty grateful. Like, I can be here at home and take care of myself. I'm with my dad right now. I have a couple weights so I can keep myself in shape. And thank God I have no issues with money or anything like that. But there are people who are suffering right now, not only in the wrestling business, but in general.
Yeah, I mean, you're a I mean, there's no secret that you're a very world traveling actor. You know, you first started, I guess, acting on an international stage, or at least in a national stage, in 2004. You even have a very popular movie on Netflix, The Green Inferno, which is hilarious because, you know, when I was watching The Green Inferno, I was saying, man, this guy's a great babyface, but I was just waiting for you to turn heel. So tell me how, you know, your first film was Promedio Rojo, right? Bad Grades. Can you tell me how that happened? Like, how did you go from, you know, being a regular guy to all of a sudden being on a national stage in acting?
Well, it was my entire life, like since I was a little kid, since I have memory, like I was like, I was a performer, you know. If it was acting, dancing, I had bands, a lot of bands. Like, I was really, really, really into heavy metal music, and I had a lot of bands, and I was like obsessed with being on stage performing. Then, of course, I became a wrestling fan when I was a teenager, but we didn't have what we have today, like a lot of wrestling schools and stuff. So basically, I stuck to acting, and yeah, I finished high school in 2002. And then I entered like this university for acting classes, for like drama school. And after my first year there, during my first year.
Yeah, you were discovered immediately, dude.
Yeah, during my first year, they were looking for actors for a teenager comedy. It was pretty much like Superbad, like you if
yeah.
you want. Look, and so and back then I was pretty like, I was a fat kid who was into wrestling and movies and stuff. So and the lead of that movie was pretty much that. He was very much into comics. I'm not that much into comics, but I was a wrestling fan, so I knew how to be a freak or a geek.
Of course, we all are, brother. I know it.
Yeah. So I got the part. And it was a pretty a success. So I went from being this fat kid who liked movies and wrestling to like a well-known popular actor here in Chile.
And then amazingly, you know, you become a popular actor in Chile, and then you become an international wrestling superstar. We'll get right back about his time at a WWE tryout in a second. But first, let's hear about the CCW training facility.
Bugs Moran, the man of the land here. I used to be just a hobo, but now I'm a hobo with a wrestling championship, and that's all because of CCW. Come join us at CCW Training Facility. It is the longest running professional wrestling school and promotion in Florida. Located in sunny Fort Lauderdale, training available for professional wrestlers, managers, referees, announcers, valets, and much, much more. Call or text 954-548-5779 to start your wrestling journey. As head trainer Pablo Marquez says, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Again, call 954-548-5779.
then I started working on TV shows and stuff. Then I did some more movies. I did then in 2010 I did this trilogy called Que Pena Tu Vida. In English they were called F My Life.
Yeah.
And it was a trilogy, so it was a huge success here, and that's how I met Eli Roth.
Continue.
So Eli met Nicolas Lopez, the director of Que Pena Tu Vida, F My Life, in a film festival in the States, and they became pretty good friends, and he really liked our work, so he wanted to come to shoot movies with us, and it was insane because he was the Bear Jew from Inglourious Bastards.
Right, exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. So, really, this guy, he wants to work with us? and he first we did a movie called Aftershock where he started in, like Eli, we shared screen together. It's called Aftershock. I don't know if it's on Netflix. I'm pretty sure it's on iTunes. So
yeah, it definitely is.
And then he was writing his first movie after Hostel 2, and that movie became The Green Inferno, and he offered me the male leading role in that movie, and that was like my first major role for the Hollywood market, you know, and
you fit right in. You know, it seems like you have that look. You know, like you have that leading man look. You have like a very chiseled features, and also it seemed like you just fit right into the entire the entire theme of the movie. How long did it take for you to prepare? Like, how long does it take you to get into that character, to become that character?
Well, it's funny because at that point I was pretty used to doing this like comedic, romantic comedy lead, like kind of Ben Stiller kind of roles,
Sure. I could see that.
and of course, like playing like being kind of dorky, but this role was like a pretty like quote unquote alpha male,
Right.
So of course I did what you have to do, man. I went to the gym. I started training a lot. I gained a lot of weight, like, and I studied a lot of like because it was like this kind of like idealistic
social justice warrior.
Yeah, he was a social justice warrior, and so of course I watch a lot of YouTube videos from these guys talking, and
sure.
And they have a really particular way to talk. It was my first leading role in English, so of course I studied a lot of. I improved my English a lot working for that movie, and just talking to Eli, he was very, he knows the characters that he writes. So it was pretty. That once we started, it was pretty easy to get into that character and
sure.
and the vibe that he wanted. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of that work. So yeah, you can definitely watch that on Netflix. So
yeah, I mean, and you can see you've been in tons of more than 20 movies and television shows, but your love is professional wrestling. Like you were saying, you were always a big fan of professional wrestling, like probably all the people hearing this as well. So it's amazing that you have these guys who get into professional wrestling so that they can become a well-known national actor. Well, you became a well-known national actor and you decided to get into wrestling. So like what was that mindset?
Yeah, I'm
how was that like?
Backwards Dwayne Johnson.
But it shows that you love it. It shows that you actually love professional wrestling. It's not a stepping stone for you.
I guess I'm obsessed with and the more I know, like, people in the business, like from all around the world, like, you have to be obsessed. It's not only love, because it's hard. It's a hard form of art. It's not like any other performing art. You cannot compare it to acting or music or anything. Like, it's a mixture of everything, and it's, I don't know. I just love it. But yeah, I was a huge fan since 1996. Started watching here in Chile. Like, we had USA Network in Español. so I started watching Monday Night Raw from 96. We didn't have TNT or anything like that. So my first introduction to wrestling was only WWE. Then I found out about WCW, Nitro, and about ECW, of course. And I remember getting bootleg VHS from Heatwave, and I don't know, from ECW shows, from ECW TV and everything, and then, of course, like, getting VHS bootleg copies of Mick Foley's death matches in Japan with Terry Funk.
Yeah. It's so funny. You're saying almost the exact same. Like, I grew up in Chicago, and there was no ECW was on at 2:00 in the morning, channel 17. It was like WSTV, something like that. 2 a.m. on like a Tuesday night, and it was amazing when I actually got to watch it and then find exactly what you said. I found a tape. I think it was like Heatwave 99 or 98, and then I was hooked. And it's crazy when I walk into the CCW training facility, and now Bill Alfonso is part of the roster. He's there helping us, and then it's just this. My mind just explodes to see, Bill Alfonso's here, where that was the guy on television, screaming right down the middle. So it's funny. It's like it almost makes things better when it's harder to get. Like, if it was in our face all the time, it probably wouldn't have felt so amazing to watch ECW. But you had to go get the tape.
Teenagers now have everything so easy, dude.
100%. 100%.
We had to burn CDs. We had to download stuff for hours. Like, it's not fair, dude. but yeah, and then, of course, WWE became very, very popular around 1999, 2000. It was like the it thing here. Like, during the Attitude Era, like, it was everyone. Just like in the States, everyone was a wrestling fan. Everyone from like 15 to 20 something, they were all wrestling fans. And for me, it was like a mixture of emotions, like, because it was like, no, why this became so popular? It was my thing,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's funny. It was the same. It's a very similar experience in that I think it was right around the NWO. People would come to school wearing NWO shirts, and this would be like people who were not wrestling fans. There were maybe like 4 or 5 of us who we would talk wrestling every day at lunch. We would just think about wrestling. We'd go, and all of a sudden, like 10 people would come and say, like, tell us to suck it, and like say things like we're too sweet, and it actually ruined everything to me, because it felt like that was my like secret thing, and all of a sudden, whether it was Hulk Hogan, whether it was Steve Austin, everyone was like giving people stunners at lunchtime. Like, it was just a weird time. But there was a moment, like exactly what you said, like that was mine, and all of a sudden it was so mainstream.
Yeah, and it was the cool kids. Wrestling is not supposed to be for cool kids.
It's not.
I mean, it could be, okay. Yeah, I know it could. But back then, it was like I wasn't a cool kid. My
no, yeah, I'm the same.
but it's okay. It made the business grow. So then, as I was telling you, like I became an actor and I started working, but I never stopped watching wrestling, of course. Like when the boom period of like the Attitude Era and all that stuff, like after the invasion and stuff, like then WWE got canceled from Chilean TV.
Wow.
So yeah, but the internet was growing, so I started. We wrestling fans started here in Chile started watching it on the internet and stuff, like downloading torrents.
Yeah, of course.
And,
can you believe that the WWE was canceled in Chile in 2002 or whatever? Unbelievable, guys. We can't be canceled because I guess anybody can be canceled nowadays. But we can't be canceled. But we are going to run a advertisement. Let's hear from Boca Stone, see what they've been up to.
Boca Stone Design will create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Countertops of all types, granite, quartz, porcelain, and more. Cabinets and tile with amazing quality and service with affordable pricing. Call now for a free estimate, 561-362-2085. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Remember, Boca Stone Design, 3601 North Dixie Highway, Boca Raton, Florida, 33431. Call 561-362-2085.
And then, but yeah, I was getting very deep into my acting career. So
of course, yeah, that's when you were at that point you had gotten into a drama school after high school, and then you became basically a star pretty quickly out of that. So at that point, then we all take our little bit of time away from professional wrestling on occasion. You had a pretty good reason to.
Yeah. And then, that was like 2000, and suddenly in 2015, like that was like
almost 5 years ago.
2015, I was already a very established actor, and I was on a dancing show. Like Dancing with the Stars, but the Chilean version.
Sure.
And well, but I've done at that point I've done some like interviews in late shows and stuff in Chile, and they always ask me like, what do you want it to be when you were a kid? What do you want it to be like growing up? And you always wanted to be an actor, right? And I was like, no, actually, I wanted to be a pro wrestler. What? Like The Rock? Yeah, I wanted to be a pro wrestler. I was obsessed with it, and I still watch it, and I love it. So these guys from a Chilean company, if you can call it company.
That was CNL. Was it
yeah.
CNL? Was it perfect? Yeah.
It was they were starting to. They wanted to build a company that looked bigger than the Chilean indies, So that's why the name, like CNL, Campeonato Nacional de Lucha, Chilean National Championship, Wrestling.
I love the name. Yeah, it's wonderful.
It's like they want to create like the big leagues of pro wrestling in Chile. So for the first show, they called me and they say like, we heard we saw your interview and we are also wrestling fans. We know you're a wrestling fan. So they wanted for me to be like an influencer for the promotion.
Sure.
Like if they wanted for me to post stuff online and so like to get more people to come to the show, to the first show. And I said, okay, I'll do it. Don't worry. But what if we do something? Like, I've watched wrestling my whole life, and I know that celebrities do something in the show.
Of course, yeah, of course. It's huge. I mean, WrestleMania 1 was built on celebrities.
Yeah.
I mean, celebrities built it. Cyndi Lauper and Muhammad Ali, all those people. Yeah, absolutely.
And Cyndi Lauper and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And So I said, like, maybe I can cut a promo and I can take a choke slam or something from a big guy, or I don't know.
I love it. Yeah.
Didn't know the wrestlers back then. But, and they said, really? Would you like to do that? And I was like, of course. It's my dream. and they said, okay, let's figure something out. And I did this video, like inviting people to the show. And I got nuclear hit.
Oh, no.
From the wrestlers. Like, who is this outsider? He's just a pretty boy from the movies. He's not one of us. Like, blah, 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 blah. Just like hit. And I said to myself, being a long life wrestling fan, I said to myself, ooh, I got something here.
There's something there. There's heat, brother. Controversy creates chaos.
Yeah.
Ariel, come on.
So I said to the promoter, I said, what if I do something like 2003, The Rock, when he was Hollywood Rock?
Absolutely.
And he got these promos like, I'm better than you guys because I'm a star now. I'm better than I used to be a wrestling fan, but now I grew up. Now I'm in shape. Now I'm not a virgin anymore.
I love it.
And they were like,
yeah.
And the promoter was, really? Would you like to be the like a heel? Would you like to be a bad guy? And I was like, of course. I would love to be the bad guy. There's anything more fun than to be the bad guy. So I cut this promo. I got hit. Of course, like a babyface confronted me. He was called Harold. He confronted me. He was like, rah, rah, rah. Like, who are you, pretty boy? What are you doing here? People here, they have come here to watch us wrestling, not you talking, etc., etc., etc. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna kick your butt. And I take my shirt off, and I low blow him, of course.
Awesome. And that started everything. You came in as a top guy, you know?
And from that point on, it was like, woo, because of course we got like mainstream media coverage. Because what is Ariel Levy doing here? You know? Why is he on this wrestling show? And why is he like punching a guy in the nuts? You know? And then I started training with these guys, and it was pretty funny because they at the beginning, not only the wrestling fans looked at me like, what is this guy doing here? Like,
sure,
the wrestlers were the same way too.
No, absolutely. Worse, like, because it's like, who's this guy? You know, like, I've done so much, and already here's the problem is you're on top because you're already, you know, you're in movies, you're in the national, you know, scene. What already mainstream news, so of course you're on top. You know what I mean? But to them, it's like it probably messes their head up. You know, but I know, yeah. I mean, go ahead, continue. But of course, you know, of course, going to be heat from the boy.
But then I started going to the training sessions, and I've always worked hard for what I want, you know, and I have a lot of etiquette. And besides that, I'm a huge wrestling fan, and and I like the story of wrestling. So I start talking with these guys, and they were like, "Oh, he speaks the same language that we speak, you know? He's one of us. Yeah, he really is one of us." So they started liking me, and they were like, "Yeah, we get what you're here. We get that you're gonna help us to make our company grow and our scene and the Chilean scene grow." And that the first CNL event was on March, and I had my first match in June.
Wow.
To say green, it'll be an understatement. I was like, I saw it the other day. I was so clumsy. No.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So you're cringing now, you know.
But
because one of your reputations is that you have to work harder, because you don't want that type of you have to go in there and you have to work as hard or as long. When you came down last year to train at this training facility for a while, and that was the thing, is you didn't come in there as an actor. You didn't come in there and say like I'm Ariel Levy. You came in there and you just tried to outwork all the people there, and I think that speaks way more to anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the thing is that my wrestling abilities weren't good, but I had like the reactions that we got in that match were insane. and the TV shows came to film the match, and of course that helped the promotion and that helped the scene, and it was pretty cool. And the other thing that I did to get heat was that I entered with Cult of Personality.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I used
Huge
that.
heat. So you have the smarks wanting to kill you. You have the casual fans wanting to kill you. I love it.
Ooh, everyone kill me. The next and yeah. So it wasn't a good match, but it was a great start, and we created a lot of buzz from that match. And
the point is like exactly what we said. The match had great heat. You had film cameras there. It was probably at that point the most watched match in CNL history, right? I mean, there's no question. It was so in a way, I mean, you brought exactly and more to what they needed, what they wanted. I mean, obviously, it wasn't Steamboat Flair. The match wasn't Rick Steamboat versus Ric Flair, but it was something that at that time was probably really important, not just to you. I mean, obviously hugely important to you because it's your first match. It's fulfilled in a lot of ways, but it's also you did exactly what you needed to do as well, and it wasn't a one and done. I mean, you built on it from there, right?
Yeah, and then I started training harder, and because I knew like I knew I was getting more attention than any other. My match was getting more attention than the championship matches or the main events, because I was the attraction, or the special match, but I was getting more attention than any other match. So I knew I had to start working harder, because at one point you're going to stop being an attraction, and they're going to start looking at you like any other wrestler. You're going to have to deliver,
Yeah, look at Ronda Rousey. I mean, the first match, it's an attraction. Second match is an attraction, but she was there for a year, and she got much better because eventually the coming down a bad reputation, just her presence stops being an attraction. Like you said, you have to be good.
Yeah. So then I started working with another promotion here in Chile called Extreme Lucha Libre. Extreme Lucha Libre is the oldest promotion. They've been running shows since 2000, and they're pretty much like an ECW style show.
Nice.
Yeah. So I started training with them, and for me it was like a dream come true, because I used to go to the Extreme shows when I was 15 or 16, and they used to do like barbed wire matches and flaming table matches and all that insane stuff.
The best wrestling, in my opinion. Secretly, my favorite type of wrestling. Go on. Yeah, that's the best.
So I started training with them, and I started to have friends in the wrestling business. So basically, I think with wrestling, I found my place in the world, because I had this new group of friends that shared this love and passion for wrestling, and now I didn't have to watch pay-per-views all alone in my room.
Yeah, that's basically how I watch pay-per-views alone right now, maybe with a crying baby nowadays. But anyway, real quick, I wanted to talk about a pretty amazing musical artist. You can listen to him on Spotify. It's Nick Corso. His new EP, Asleep in the Backseat, is getting a lot of rave reviews across the country. So I thought it would be interesting to check it out. He was the original guitarist for the Orwells, and now he is out on his own. So at the end of the podcast, I'm going to put the single Asleep in the Backseat, but you can buy it right now on iTunes, Asleep in the Backseat. It's $3.96. Or you can go on Spotify and then just stream it while you go to work. But it's an excellent, amazing EP, and it's a lot of amazing things are happening. So please check it out, and you can listen to the entire song at the end of the podcast.
You know?
Totally.
I mean, right now I have because of the quarantine. Right?
But you suddenly, and I can absolutely like feel I feel the same in that, you know, when you actually start working with wrestling promotions, when you start working in the wrestling business, suddenly, like you said, you know, where I was watching pay-per-views by myself, or I had no one to talk to about it. Now it's like the next day, what are we talking about? We're talking about you know, Extreme Rules. We're talking about WrestleMania. We're talking about for hours at a time, something that I would do, you know, maybe with one friend growing up. Now I have, you know, 20 guys. It's the same way, accepted into a wrestling promotion. You know, yeah, of course we're there. We're here trying to put on great matches for everybody. We're trying to put on a great show, but also it's a brotherhood.
Yeah. So I found that brotherhood, and I loved it, and I've been loving it since that day, and of course we drank a lot of beer, and
of course,
but we had very, very good training sessions, and I learned a lot from that time, and of course I cut my teeth into the business. I started like helping to put the ring.
Yeah, which I mean, and I think you can explain the importance of that is that, you know, there are guys when you're starting and maybe you don't have a match for 6 months or 8 months, but you're there putting together the ring, putting up the ring, setting up the entranceways, the guardrails. And that's so important. That's so important for the veterans, so important for the guys who are working hard because they did the same. And once you know, there are still guys who are there for 2-3 years and they're still doing it at Coastal Championship Wrestling. They're still putting up the ring, breaking down the ring. They're just leading the charge. So it's like one of those things where it's like you gain so much respect. And especially you coming in, you could have been the guy who's just like, I don't want to do that. I don't have to do that.
Yeah,
you know, you're the guy who's like, they put me on top right away because I'm already, you know, everybody knows who I am. Look at my following, you know. But you could have done that, you know.
I could get to the venue like right before bell time because I'm on the last match or the one after the intermission. I don't know, so. I could have, you know, but I was the first one to be in the venue helping, and that helped me to be accepted by the guys, by the boys and the girls in the locker room. So yeah, fun times. And then of course for me wrestling, I continued my acting career. I stopped wrestling because I went to live in Mexico for a season, and I trained a little bit there, but I didn't want to wrestle professionally there because it's harder, you know. The Mexican scene, it's a little bit harder and it's rough, and I didn't want to be shooting a movie with a black eye or something like that.
Right. It's stiff and the altitude is crazy, right? I mean, you're training in insane altitudes, and you're exactly right. They lay everything in. So God forbid you go to a scene and you have a black eye, you know?
Yeah.
Constant bruises.
And then I came back to Chile, and that's when the wrestling thing for me got real, because we did a tour around Chile. We did a 5-day, 5 shows all around Chile, and I lay like a challenge. Like if I win every match in this tour, I'll be the #1 contender. And they accepted my challenge, and I won every match in that tour. And that was the point that people shift their view about me. Like, oh, he's a wrestler now. He can wrestle, you know? So when I finished that tour, we had our first big show of the year in Santiago. And I wrestled the champ, the CNL champ back then. I entered as a heel, and at the end of the match, it was a face.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and the cool thing about it is that we planned the match to get that reaction.
That you'd finally broken through, and that you got the respect as a wrestler, and the crowd would respect you. It's yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't that it only happened. We planned that reaction. Of course, people were already like changing their mind about myself in the wrestling business here in Chile. But that match made me.
Yeah.
For the wrestling smart fans.
that was your Austin and Brett moment, you know, that was that turn, that double turn, right?
Other guy turned, I was
okay, just you. That was your moment to break through.
It wasn't a double turn. I lost the match, but I gained the respect of the CNL audience.
Don't you love when wrestling works? Like, you know, it burns me because it hurts me so much when I see like intended wrestling storylines like for WWE that just don't work. Crowd reaction doesn't go. But isn't it just magic when it does?
It is. It's the best. But you know what? I forgot like a very important point of my history. Like going back like a couple years, 2 years before that match that I was talking about, I had the privilege to face X-Pac, Sean Waldman.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And he came and we did like a 3-on-3 match, like Team Levy versus Team Vergara. Eddie Vergara was the CNL champ back then. And Eddie Vergara, of course, one of his teammates was Sean Waldman, X-Pac. And I had the chance, like being this actor, very green wrestler, to face one of the greatest in-ring performers of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds nerve-wracking, right? Like a guy who, you know, I remember when he was the Kid Lightning or Lightning Kid in like GWF when he, God knows how old he was, probably 19. And now this is him fully fleshed out, you know, such an amazing wrestler. And then you're coming in to do your thing, right?
Yeah, for a long time he was like the gatekeeper for the WWE.
Yeah, absolutely. He was the guy that if they wanted to see you could work, they put you against 1-2-3 Kid, you know, put you against X-Pac.
So, of course, it was a big event for CNL because like international guest star and stuff. So I make my entrance and I cut a promo. I had a great heel reaction once again. And then I worked the match, and of course I was very, very, very nervous because I had to work with Sean. But he was so generous, man. He was so open for our ideas. He was so like. I learned so much from that match. I can even, I don't know, like he was so generous and he went over. I mean, the team Vergara went over.
Right.
But the next day, the promoter called me and said, "Hey, we're having lunch here with Sean. Can you come, please?" And I was, of course. I would love to go there and say hi to Sean before he goes back to the States. And Sean was like, you know what, man?
Yeah. Hey, man. Yeah.
you should have gone over yesterday because I saw your promo, and you got it, man. You got it. I mean, wrestling moves, you're gonna learn them. You're gonna learn how to work a match, but you understand it. And I was like, wow, really? Yeah. So and he was like, now you have to, and he was like, you know what? We're gonna shoot now like a promo for internet where you attack me on the parking lot of my hotel.
Awesome.
So you can get your heat back. Because he was like, yeah, I came here as a star, and I have a career, you know. I'm already a star, and I'm already a former WWE tag team champ and European champ, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, and I came here, and then I will leave, and I have to leave someone over. That was his philosophy, you know?
Yeah, so, and it's the old school way, right? I mean, he's an old school guy. You know, he's still young. He's still a young guy, but he started so early that it seems like he's that type of guy who's like, you know what, I felt bad. Like you're saying, you know, I want to put you back over. I want you to be the one who you know gets the rub off of him, and that's what wrestling's about, right?
Yeah. So we shot this video where we attacked him on his way to the airport, and came out great, and of course talked a lot about it. It became trending, of course, and so it helped me a lot. So and from that point on, I took my wrestling career very, very seriously. You know?
Yeah, of course. You know, you had that moment where you know you probably realized at that point that you can go a lot farther than you know what you probably had in your mind. I mean, of course, being a national champion in Chile and being a huge guy, a huge wrestler in Chile is a great thing. But you know, when someone like X-Pac, like Sean Waltman, tells you that you get it, that you understand, that's when you know, like, you know, maybe you can do this on a global level, right? You should be doing it on a global level.
Yeah. So then, well, it was 2018, and 2018, the match with Sean was in 2016. Then in 2018, I had this match that I was talking about where I became like a face for the first time in my career. And I became like, and I started working. It was very funny because I used to be this character who was like this a-hole, who was like a star and a superstar, and I'm better than you and blah, blah, blah. But suddenly I started working as an underdog.
Yeah, of course.
and it was not as fun as working as a heel, but it was very, very interesting to work as a face, to sell. I had the chance to sell a lot, to
get sympathy. You know, you're there to get the sympathy of that crowd now, instead of their hate, you know?
And I had the chance to start using more flashy moves and stuff.
Right.
Less brawling, more like, and I started getting more info about how to work matches, how to put on matches, how does what is my comeback, for example, you know? So then, after a couple months, I became, for the first time, the CNL champion, and against Valentin Bravo, who's another friend of mine, and I became for the first time a CNL champion. We shot an angle on TV on Fox Sports Chile the week before the match. Where
I saw it. It has like millions of views. I thought it was great. it's so funny you mentioned that because I was showing it around the CCW training facility, and everybody's mind was blown because they remember you, but they remember you as like the quiet guy who was just working out with us. They don't remember you as the guy on national television, throw like this crazy angle on us on Fox Sports.
Yeah. So of course, and then I kayfabed like a rib injury. After that, I posted like an X-ray image of a broken, and I said, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to wrestle for the championship for the championship this Sunday. My doctors advised me that I don't do it, but you know what? I will. I'll do it anyway. I'll do it anyway. I don't care about my rib. so I gained sympathy, of course, because of that.
Of course.
And I won the match. I won the championship, and was as Kevin Nash once said, like your first championship is one of the only real things in the business.
And you winning that championship, it also kind of springboarded you into your tryout with the WWE.
Yeah, man. A couple of weeks after I won the championship, WWE announced the first Latin American tryout, and of course you had to apply online, and people from all over Latin America applied, and I got the tryout. I got to be part of the first Latin American tryout on December of 2018. 2018. But on my first defense of the title, I had a separated shoulder.
Oof. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So this was in October, and the tryout was going to be in December. And my doctor said, okay, no any kind of sport in 3 months and no resting for 6 months.
Oof.
Yeah, so
right there, it's the height of everything. You just won your championship. The crowd is finally they've turned you. You're everything is going in all the right directions. It seems like the logical next step, and then you separate your shoulder. So that must have just been just inflating or just upsetting, or how did you take it at the time? Just in a depression, or just moving on? What were your feelings?
Of course I went down, dude. I cried a lot, and I felt guilty because the match was a ladder match. And I thought maybe I should have taken care of myself.
Can you imagine what Jim Cornette would have said? You have your tryout coming up, and then you're doing ladder matches. That's what Jim Cornette would have been insane,
Yeah, and the match was already booked, before I got the call for the tryout. So it was already announced, and yeah. So yeah, I felt a lot of guilt, a lot of anger, of course. Yeah, not a good time, but the next day, I gave myself permission to be sad, to be angry. But the day after that, I was already in the gym, like.
Yeah, exactly. Thinking about the next thing, right? Like you're right. Give yourself a day, but then just move forward, right?
Yeah, and I emailed the WWE. I emailed Canyon Seaman, who's the VP of Talent Relationships, and he said, "Oh, well, don't worry. Thanks for informing us that you're injured." you still can come and watch the tryout like for a day. So we'll let you know. And yeah, I got to as I said, I started working on my injury. I started working on whatever I could do in the gym, like, and the day of the Latin American tryout, I got to come for the last day of the workouts, and I saw my friends of mine like getting to do the tryout, and
yeah,
I saw guys from all over Latin America doing the tryout. I met the coaches, Robbie Brookside, Matt Bloom, and I told them my story, and they were like, "Don't worry, I'm sure our path will cross again and stuff." And I spoke to Canyon Seaman, and he was like, "Well, keep us posted on your injury and stuff, and we'll tell you if we're having another tryout here in Latin America for you." And stuff. And yeah, it was a bittersweet sensation because
sure.
I was really proud of my friends, of my fellow Chilean wrestlers. And I was really proud of my city holding the first Latin American tryout. But at the same time, I was bitter because I couldn't be part of it, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like it's such the fact that it was in Santiago, and it was so close. And yet, and you were supposed to be there, and all of that, and you know, were you worried that you would never have a second chance, or what was, or you were sure that you were gonna work hard and get that second chance? What were your thoughts?
No, I was like, I thought when Mr. Seaman said like, keep us posted on your injury and stuff, and we'll see. I thought he was just like being nice, you know.
Of course, yeah, like. Yeah, call us when you get a chance, type of thing, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, and well, after that, like, on January of 2019, I was part of a reality show here in Chile. So I was locked shooting that for like 3 months. And then I came back, and then I recovered my injury, and I came back to CNL on June last year, and of course I had a lot of ring rust and stuff.
Yeah, you were gone for like 6 months at that point, right? A little longer than that.
More.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like 8 months.
Wow. So yeah, getting right back on the horse. Oh, because you had the reality show as well. It's like getting right back on that horse, you know, and doing your matches and doing your you know, your whole return thing. It's not easy.
Yeah. So I started working out and training for my new matches and stuff. I was already put into the title picture again because I never lost my title. But I was a heel again.
Of course.
Yeah. Now because I left them for a reality show. And I was like, dude, I have to pay my bills. I have to pay my medical bills. I broke my freaking shoulder working to entertain you. And now you are saying that I betrayed you? F you.
I love it. I love the angle because the best angles are truthful, right?
Yeah. So it was pretty easy. My promos back there are the best promos of my career, and I had pretty good matches. One with a guy called Rocket. It's posted on my Instagram. That match is posted on my Instagram. Because Last year, CNL started doing shows for YouTube. Like every Saturday, we had shows, 9 p.m. on YouTube.
Awesome.
CNL Chile. You can look for it.
Yeah, for sure. We'll post it in the show notes as well.
Yeah. So thank you. So I started working matches here. I was in shape again. I was working a lot, and I had a call from Mexico to work on another film.
All right, guys, we're going to cut this into 2 parts, but the next part is going to be some awesome stuff with Ariel talking about training at CCW, his WWE tryout, and then a little bit of controversy with Chris Jericho, using Jericho's finisher and you know, talking to Jericho. So that'll drop actually probably tomorrow or just in a day or two. In the meantime, check out Asleep in the Backseat. This is Nick Corso. Check it out on Spotify, iTunes, and right here, right now.